Solar flash update January 14th. Nothing will ever be the same. Earth split is intensifying. The conquest of Earth is happening as we speak. Whatever it was that we were talking about was going to happen, the big shift, it is now happening as we speak. Stay tuned for the entire video because I'm going to start talking about some solar flash predictions that we've been talking about that are actually happening now in 2025 and how it's going to continue. There is no turning back from this. This is the Thunder Wizard YouTube channel, the gathering place for all 5D starseeds and light workers. The best way to understand the world that we're living in is to question your reality and then change it. If you appreciate these videos, go to thunderwizard.com, subscribe there at the Patreon page. You will get access to energy practices that are the most powerful, the most advanced energy meditative practices in the history of planet Earth. Also go to the shop and see all of the videos and courses available. And check out my books at michaelwilliamdenny.com if you want to find out what's really going on with UFOs and aliens. I have 2 books. Go check them out there at michaelwilliamdenny.com if you really want to understand what's happening. If you want to support me directly, if you like these videos, go to support.thunderwizard.com and follow the instructions. Most important thing I need you to do is to go to these free live guided interdimensional meditations that we do every Wednesday and Saturday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. It's the most powerful thing you can do. I guarantee you, if you do them with honesty and sincerity, your life will change. So, nothing will ever be the same. What the heck am I talking about when I talk about these solar flash predictions that are coming true this year? So, we've been hearing this for a while, that 2025 is going to be the year. 2025, 2026, that's what I've heard the most from people, and it's turning out to be true. I mean, just as soon as we came into this new year, it seems like everything has completely gone bonkers. By the way, this is the 14th as I'm uploading it, the night of the 14th, and we had a comet. I haven't checked to see if it survived, but it came close to the sun yesterday. It came out of nowhere, and it came from underneath the Earth, which signifies the unconscious. It came up from underneath, went around the sun, and it's now on its way back if it hasn't been destroyed, and it's closer to Earth right now than it will be. And so something huge is coming from this. If you believe in those kinds of signs, this means something huge is coming. So we're going to be talking about some of those things. And I just want to say, what's happening in Los Angeles? Absolutely, completely, totally unheard of. I lived in Los Angeles for 40 years at least. And so I'm here to tell you, as somebody that grew up there and lived there, that what is happening right now is not natural. They want to tell you it has to do with climate change and the winds are really huge and this is some strange, no, this happens every year. Every year those Santa Ana winds come through and sometimes fires happen. But the level that we're seeing, 5-6 different fires over something that's like, a 40, 50 mile radius, 5-6 different fires. They're not the same thing. There are people that are actively starting these fires, and you can, follow the research to find out all of the things that led up to this happening. It's as if somebody planned it out. But what it means is that nothing will ever be the same. This is potentially, on a worldwide level, this is one of the most important cities to the psyche of the world. And in the United States, it is absolutely the biggest megalopolis in the United States. It's a megalopolis, meaning that it's a huge city because of course, the amount of people that live in Los Angeles proper. And Los Angeles itself is a huge radius. And so tons of people, but not only that, it's not only got the most people, but it's the largest. I mean, I lived there, and you could drive in Los Angeles for hours and never get out of the city. Just never get away from constant buildings. And also we've got Hollywood there. And so Hollywood is under threat. There's places burning around Hollywood, and the significance of the movie industry and Hollywood itself, what it means to the whole world, the fact that this is threatened to this degree, the fact that the elites haven't swarmed in there and put out the fires immediately. It's as if somebody's continuing to watch Rome burn. It's I'm waiting for Nero to pop out, flicking matches at the thing. So anyway, psychologically and symbolically, this is huge, and this is an attack not only on a large city, but it's also an attack on the psyche of the whole world, simply because of the symbolism of Hollywood. Anyway, let's go ahead and get into that. So my predictions, not just my predictions, other people's predictions. The solar flash predictions that are coming true right now, the end of the cult of celebrity. Robert De Niro, Julia Roberts, I forget his name, another famous actor, Snow White. These actors are flipping out because they are losing, in some cases, tens of millions of dollars in upcoming revenue for movies that are getting canceled. Will Smith, Jada Pinkett Smith, they're getting canceled because, on the one hand, Jada Pinkett Smith, everybody knows that she's toxic and a nutcase, and he's so chronically codependent that, and of course he slapped Chris Rock, which made him, box office poison. We see, nobody wants to, I don't want to support a guy who, abuses other people, half his size. We're seeing that fall apart. And then we're seeing with the political stuff with Julia Roberts and Robert De Niro, Robert De Niro has just gone so far, has completely, totally lost it. And now he's getting canceled on all of his upcoming projects. He's going to lose tens of millions, hundreds of millions of dollars in future projects, and he's flipping out. And, I'm listening to him go off. Not listening, I'm reading him as he's making these statements going off on. He's so angry at the average person, and he's forgotten that it's the average person who pays to go watch the movies or rent the videos or whatever it is that he's living off of. And the movie studios, he's not a god that people have to, it's not like you have to go and watch him and that studios have to hire him. No, he's a product. He's forgotten that he's a product, and his job is to entertain people. And if he entertains people, movie studios will hire him and make money off of him. The idea, that he's so wrapped up in himself, and I'm focusing on him, but he represents the whole cult of celebrity. Celebrities have got, the level of money that celebrities have now. When I was a kid, if a movie star became a millionaire, they were rich. And then in the 90s, you had, people starting to make $20 million a movie, which was unbelievable. But that's nothing now, getting paid hundreds of millions of dollars to make a movie is it's just, and so, now they have become part of the super elite. And, it doesn't surprise me at all that they support the political candidates that represent that. And they're in this bubble and they have no connection to the average person. And for Robert De Niro to go off and start calling people, idiots and morons and uneducated and stupid, like they should listen to him. And what does he have? Does he have some degree? Did he go to spend 20 years in college? Does he have any experience in, has he ever worked a day in any kind of government political position? Does he have the slightest clue about politics? And no, of course not. He's an actor. I know what actors do. I was an actor. I know what level of knowledge they have to have. They have to be able to read. They have to be able to memorize stuff and access their emotions. And that's that's about it. If you can remember your lines and hit your mark and say them back in a way that is just slightly believable, you're good to go. That doesn't qualify you to start pontificating about politics. And he doesn't get that. And what really got me was he was saying about, he was so angry with people, because he knows he's losing these movies because half of the population, at the very least, wants nothing to do with him because he was bad-mouthing, people, calling, people all kinds of horrible names because they didn't agree with him. And he thought that he could do things like, he thinks that he can have a, that he can call a press conference because he's Robert De Niro. He can call a press conference not to talk about movies, but to talk about politics. Like, why should we care what you say? You're an actor. And for him to get bent out of shape because he's offended half the population that pay the money that the studios make to pay him, and they don't want him anymore because he's not going to make them any money, for him not to realize that. And then he started talking, what really got me was he started talking about, he deserves to be heard because of all of the sacrifices that he's made to become an actor. And I went, now I know you are completely out of touch. Now I know. Because he really honestly believes that he deserves that. Hey, he's a great actor. And I've been in that business, and I can tell you that there are 100, there are people just as good as him. If you go to any restaurant in Hollywood, you're going to bump into 20 other potential Robert De Niros, myself included. People that can act him under a table. That have. I mean, I know I sacrificed. I know I sacrificed 100 times more than he did. I wasn't lucky enough to make it into the movies and become a star. Good for him. I'm glad he was. But I put myself in the hospital, founding a theater company in Hollywood, working 2 jobs, acting main stage productions, writing, directing. Did I say teaching classes already? And I put myself in the hospital. And I wasn't lucky enough to make it. And I was good enough. I just, things didn't line up or whatever. And he was lucky enough that things, the stars aligned for him, and he was good and he worked hard. Good for him. But to say that he deserves to be able to pontificate about things he doesn't know anything about because he's rich and famous, and therefore all rich, famous people know what's going on, and you stupid, dumb, working class people don't know the first thing about, who needs to be in office. I mean, it's just. So this whole cult of celebrity is going to come crashing down, and we're going to find out the narcissistic self-absorbed grandiosity of the whole thing is going to become, people are just going to wake up to how ridiculous that is. It's already happened. Look what's happening, Will Smith. He didn't get political, but look at what happened with him. Slapped some guy half his size in public at the Oscars on the night that he was going to get an Oscar. I mean, we're seeing now the whole worship of money and of fame and of power and all of that. It's all going away. Look at Meghan Markle's Netflix thing. I mean, I saw the trailer for that, and what I walked away from was I was looking at it like this, not because there was anything outrageous going on, but it was just so clear that she is so out of touch with the average person, that she thinks with the wars that are going on and the natural disasters and people, just homeless people. What strikes me is that there are people in this country, the richest country in the world, supposedly. There are people who work full-time jobs that live in tents, live in the back of their car. There are families that live in tents. And it's not because they're drug addicts and lazy. They work full-time jobs. They just can't afford housing. Because the housing crisis, I mean, to have all this going on, and then Meghan Markle is going to make a Netflix show about making cheesecake with other celebrities. And why does anybody, that would have worked 10, 20 years ago. People worship that because we want to be that. Oh, look at her. She's Cinderella. She's a nobody, and she met the Prince of Wales, and they got married, and now she's got a kid, and look at her. She's got a chef, and she's got a show. Oh my God, and she's so beautiful and rich, and I'm going to be that. That promise is being destroyed. The fact that Los Angeles and that Hollywood might go up in flames, but the fact that that is going on, that is a symbol to the whole world. Hollywood has always been a symbol of people's dreams. People used to say this is not how it worked, but, well, no, there's some stars got discovered working, as a waitress somewhere in some Hollywood restaurant. But that symbol, you could just go to Hollywood and walk on the street and somebody would discover you and put you in a movie and you'd become a star. It represented, going after your dreams and becoming a success. And the fact that that is being destroyed, and it is, these fires are an active act of war. It means that the truly rich people do not want you to have dreams anymore. This is an attack on the psyche of the whole world. And watch, nothing will ever be the same after this. I mean, we've known that for a while, but this is that symbol of everything is okay. Hollywood has always been about everything is okay. I mean, people have horrible lives. They go sit in movie theaters so that they can be told everything is okay. Things are not okay. Things are not okay. And the people that are controlling this world don't want you to feel okay. They're telling you now, okay, dream time is over. It's not okay. You're now our slave. So the end of the cult of celebrity. We're going to see a deeper exposure of politicians as mere puppets of the elite. I could go on. We could talk about Joe Biden. We could talk about Kamala Harris. I'm not going to get into that. I believe they were, especially Kamala Harris, I believe that they were puppets of deep state. And they simply just do what they're told and don't have any clue about what's going on. Zero understanding of what's going on. I think that's been, people saw that more than ever with this latest, with Joe Biden. But it really struck me again. So I'm watching, what's happening in Los Angeles. And so the mayor of Los Angeles, I don't remember her name, but she shows up. She shows up and she's supposed to be, I don't know what, but she's supposed to be, standing up, and I assume the idea is to do this press conference and let people know that she's in control and here are the things that she's doing because she's a politician and she's there because she's supposed to know how to orchestrate things and make things happen so that, these problems will get taken care of. And she ends up saying, that there are all these services available. And she says, if you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. She says, and if you have any questions about any of this, just go to URL. It's just, and with a straight face, and she just keeps going. She's reading off of a teleprompter, and she doesn't realize that somebody was supposed to put in the URL. They were supposed to put in the website address for wherever people could go to solve whatever problem she said, they could solve. And so she's reading it, and obviously somebody wrote URL, meaning, the website. And so some secretary or somebody was supposed to, type in the website, and somebody made up the script and the URL and said, yeah, put that URL into that, and they didn't do that. And so she's just reading, and she says, if you, want to have any questions, need to solve that problem, go to URL. And then does not have the presence of mind to look at it and go, wait a minute, what's the URL that's supposed to be in there? We need the website. What is the website? Somebody would have told her. She not only didn't have the presence of mind to do that, but she obviously didn't even know what she was saying. And this is the mayor. My point of this isn't that she's just clearly not that swift, but she's obviously planted there. She was put there by very rich people who don't want her to be competent. They want her to just do what they tell her to do. And I mean, to not know that you're making a speech, and to not know that URL is a meaningless thing, it's not a real thing, and to be reading something that's supposed to be the most important thing people need to do to know where to go and what to do. And she obviously doesn't know what that is, and she sees the letters URL and assumes, number one, that it means something, and she assumes that you, as the listener, know what it means, which means that she knows that you know more than she does. She's like a 4-year-old. And again, it's not about attacking her. There's all kinds of other things coming out about her, but the fact that she was put there in the biggest megalopolis in the richest country in the world, and the mayor of the largest city in the most powerful country in the world is so inept and so totally clueless that she literally has no idea what she is reading. And the other thing that got me was that she was smiling. I mean, the city's burning down and she's smiling, like she's, as she's making this speech, like she's just gone into some kind of, that's what you do when you that's how I got through. I just smiled, and that's just no awareness of anything whatsoever. The mental capacity of a 4-year-old. She was planted there. So this is a whole-scale military attack on civilians and populations. This is. Might as well have dropped a bomb on the place. Might as well have dropped a bomb. If you had dropped a bomb, it probably would have been less destructive. And it's still going on a week later. More fires are being started. They're not just magically happening because it's windy. These are started. And it's obvious this is a military operation, clearly. So that's something that we've been told was going to happen. I mean, I got light beings came to me week ago, and it was I didn't repeat it because it was a strange, isolated message. But they said, "You are in extreme danger," and the feeling I got was not me, meaning you humans. You are in extreme danger. And then we see this. They know what's going on. So I don't know if you know about the United Nations Smart City 2030 agenda. And what's interesting is that Los Angeles is slated for that. Again, as it turns out right now, I used to be a Democratic Party person, a while ago. Because, the way the uniparty works is that one party is the party of the elites and the other party is the party that rebels against it. And for a while, it was the Republicans were the party of the elites, and the Democrats were the party of the the rebels, the free speech and all of that. And then that's shifted now. So now the Democrats are the party of the elites, and the Republicans have now become the populist party of the rebels. That's been bouncing back and forth. How did I get on that? So the UN Smart City 2030 agenda is what Gavin Newsom and others have been actually working on for a long time. So if you want to start a smart city, what you got to do is you got to destroy the place and then rebuild. So they're already, Gavin Newsom is smiling. I mean, there's something wrong with these people. I think maybe these people might have been MK Ultra'd and then put into these positions because there's like a sociopathic disconnect. For I don't even know her name, the mayor of Los Angeles, smiling as she's talking about how we need to come together. That is not an appropriate affect. When your city is burning and you're the mayor, you need to be somber and act as though you're ready to get work done, not smile like you're auditioning for a soap commercial. And then Gavin Newsom's talking about we're already ready to rebuild. I mean, the place is still burning. And he's talking about rebuilding and we're ready to do Los Angeles 2.0. Like that's a good thing. And then not even stopping to recognize what is our, Los Angeles is, basically a historical city is being destroyed. And again, a sociopathic disconnect and not even aware. But a mayor of California has been working with the United Nations for this 2030 smart city agenda. So they're right on target. 2025, give them 5 years to build that smart city. They're right on schedule. So they talk about in there, the UN Smart City agenda, they talk about destroying inequality. And what I want to let you know is that sounds good, but what it really means is destroying autonomy and ownership. Because what you're going to be told is that people who are autonomous are, eventually they're going to be saying you're racist, it's now messed up in other things. But if you're an autonomous person and you're not part of the Borg collective, you being an autonomous person, taking care of yourself, owning your own property, owning your own stuff, you're now going to be seen as an outlier, and you're going to be seen as somebody who promotes inequality, because equality means exactly the same. What does that sound like? It sounds like communism. So when they talk about getting rid of inequality, it's the kind of things that communists talk about, which means they just want you to be a cog in the wheel. They want everybody to look the same, wear the same thing. In China, I don't know if that goes on now, but for a long time, everybody just had the same uniform and did the same thing, and looked the same and had the same amount of money and the same amount of opportunity, and that was equality. That was good. No, it means that you don't have an identity. So that's what that means. So you're going to be hearing more about that from people pushing this, assuming these people stay on this planet. So we've got whole-scale world rebellion against the elite agenda. This is something, again, because the people, again, I don't know these people, but I look at Gavin Newsom, I look at the mayor of Los Angeles, and I see somebody that's not home. And it makes me feel like, again, these people have been handpicked and MK Ultra through their whole life. There's some interesting information out there about the mayor of Los Angeles, who has been part of the Communist Party for decades, and for years would travel to Cuba, to work directly with Fidel Castro, learning how to make bombs and crazy stuff like that. I mean, that doesn't happen unless you've been targeted, and so who knows where these people came from. I don't have any proof for who they are, but they come across as they're not home. They're sociopaths, which means they've been abused. They're not just evil. That means they've been abused and they've been programmed. I don't think they have the first clue what they're doing. I don't think Gavin Newsom understands what he's doing. As he sits there smiling about where, as his city is, or as a city in his state is burning, and for him to be smiling, talking about we're ready to start, Los Angeles 2.0, we're ready to rebuild. Wait till the fire's out before you start doing that, and smiling. It's an inappropriate time to be smiling, you guys. It means there's something wrong. They're not home. So these people don't understand. They don't understand human beings. They don't understand human psychology. They can't empathize because they don't have the same level of emotions and empathy that you do. And so they don't understand why you're rebelling. They don't understand Trump's appeal. They don't understand any of that. They didn't see that coming. They honestly thought that they would be able to just do their MK Ultra over the world and be able to take you all in, after you all got the, and all of that you'd be able to be controlled. They honestly thought they would be able to pull that off. They didn't think that there would be this level of rebellion. And this is just the beginning. It's going to explode. It's already started to explode all over the world, but it's going to go nuclear. And so we've been hearing about this for a long time. This is happening now. It's coming now. It's not coming next week, next year. It's happening now. So we may be seeing the real extraterrestrial UFO disclosure in January. Dr. Stephen Greer has been, dropping these big hints that now, this week, apparently, the week of, yesterday was the 13th. This week, the 13th through the 20th, he's seemed to be saying that there's going to be this huge dump of information disclosure about the fake alien invasion and the deep unacknowledged space programs that we have in the downing, not the crash retrieval program, but the actual war against extraterrestrials and the capture of ships and extraterrestrials. My understanding is that there's going to be he's saying there's going to be a big disclosure. I'm very excited about it. I got to be honest. I've heard people say this, I'll believe it when I see it. And part of me is like, I'll believe it when I see it. But he's doubled down on it. He said it a couple of times now. So that would be a huge game changer. And the question is, will people hear it? But I find it coincidental that is happening right as this comet comes flying by. So I want to believe, I really want to believe that something huge will come out of that. We'll see. And does that mean that the solar flash will be coming this year or next year? So as you know, I used to be a real proponent that the solar flash was a real thing, an instantaneous shift. And the truth is, I haven't gotten that information from the extraterrestrials. The extraterrestrials have showed me there's going to be a transformation on a huge level that's going to shift everything to the point even people's belief in religion and spirituality is going to be absolutely shifted and completely open, that religion will be destroyed and true spirituality will come. They didn't say that would happen in a day. They didn't give me any time frame for that. But I heard about the solar flash, and I asked them about what is this solar flash thing, or what is this event? And they said it's going to be a series of solar waves of love that will penetrate the earth and shift everything up. They didn't give me a timetable. As I said before, I want to believe in the solar flash. I thought it was coming on October 6th. Turns out I was wrong. But I want to believe that. I want to believe that there will be a single event. I want to, I feel like light beings are encouraging me to visualize that. And so that's why I bring it into the live guided meditations, but I don't know what's going to happen. Excuse me. But if such a thing were to happen, this would be a year. This would be as good a year as any for that to happen. Some people are saying 2026. And maybe. By the way, I'm not burping and hiccuping because I'm drunk. It's my kombucha soda. I like my healthy sodas. But it does make me a little burpy. All right, so that's pretty much it, guys. I wish I had more to tell you. All I know is it is clear to me. It's never been more clear that we are in the shift. Into what direction? I don't know. The world itself, left to itself, is heading towards 1984. And unless something happens to change that, that's where things are heading. I mean, again, Los Angeles is again, a war in, don't get me wrong, the wars in all over the world, the war in Ukraine is a big deal, but for the majority of the world, Ukraine is just somewhere over there. We know what it is, we know where it is, and it's sad, millions of people, blah, blah, blah. But we've always had Hollywood to distract us. We've never paid attention to all the wars around the world because we live in our bubble. Well, now we're being attacked in the center of the bubble. The place that creates the bubble is being destroyed. And it is an orchestrated military attack. And that means nothing will ever go back to the way it was. We're either going to shift and ascend, or we are going to descend into apocalypse. I know that sounds horrible, and I'm sorry, I'm not trying to bum anybody out, but that's just the fact of the matter. So the fact that I have an inside knowledge from very powerful spiritual beings who are telling me that, have been telling me that the world is going to shift, this means the shift is here. It means that the dark forces know it. They are panicking. And as I've said before, just because they're panicking and they know that their time is over, it doesn't mean that they're not dangerous. They're more dangerous now than ever because they don't care. They obviously don't care. They're not even trying to hide. And whatever, the fact that they've got, representatives for the government who just sit there with a stupid smile on their face and don't have any clue what they're doing, what's going on, and who they're talking to, and clearly aren't emotionally and psychologically capable of communicating to actual people. It means that these people, they know their time is up, and they're wounded animal in a corner, snapping and growling, and they're going to unleash all their evil plans, and they're in the midst of doing it. So we're not done. It wouldn't surprise me if other kinds of things start happening. More of these kinds of events. They've been going on. It's just that they happen and then we forget about it. But now it's clear. You put all of it together. Hawaii, the hurricanes, Palestine, chemical dump, and these fires, and the fires that have been going all, for years that we're not even paying attention to. They're buying up all the land. They're taking away our rights, one by one. Just, it's all starting to build up, and it's all becoming, we're not able to look away anymore. So anyway, I could go on and on and on. So I hope you show up tomorrow, because we need to be doing these live guided interdimensional meditations more than ever. By the way, I just did an interview that I did a couple of weeks ago, just got put up on YouTube. I'm going to put a link below. You can go check it out. There's a second half to that. That's just the first half. And then she's going to upload the second half, I don't know, I guess in a couple of weeks. And there's at least one other There's one other interview that I did that's out there that's going to be up soon, and I guess the timing is good. Maybe people are ready to hear what I've got to say. Anyway, that's it, my friends. I love you all. Please be very good to yourselves. Remember all the ways, support.thunderwizard.com and subscribing at thunderwizard.com. All of that helps me from having to take on side hustles, which I'm in the midst of doing. So I appreciate all of your support. I hope to see you all, guys, tomorrow night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. So until I see you next time, please be very good to yourselves. I love you all. And yeah, watch what's going to happen. Things are about to get really crazy.